Good evening, bonsoir. Nous avons ce soir avec nous quelqu'un qui a écrit un livre sur les endroits à visiter à San Francisco. Et l'interview donc va se faire en anglais parce qu'elle parle anglais. So we have Diane De Castro.
Yes.
And she wrote a book about places to visit, to go in San Francisco.
Well, it's more than just places to go. It's not a guide to restaurants or tourist attractions. It's really about the inner workings of the city.
Oh.
It's about different organizations and groups that most people that don't know about that are happening that really make San Francisco a vital place.
And how did you find out about them?
Well, I started when I got the idea to do the book. I started asking people how they like to spend their time. And what I found is all of a sudden people would start saying, well, I like to play tennis. And I'd say, well, where do you go? And then they'd say, well, I go Tuesday nights at Golden Gate Park. And I'd say, wow, that's great. And then I'd go out there and I'd check it out and I'd go, wow, this is really a great place to go and meet people. So then when I was there, I'd say, what else? I'd start asking other people, like, what do you like to do? And they'd say, well, I like to go and see films. So I learned all about how the different groups in San Francisco, all the different film groups. And some people said, oh, their interests are art. And I said, wow. And then I found out like the Thursday night, first Thursdays where the different galleries open up and you can go and they have nice wine and cheese receptions and they focus on a different artist every month. And I never knew about these organizations. So I did 7 months of research and it was a lot of fun because I went undercover basically because I didn't want to go in and talk to people and say, here, I'm writing a book, because people would change. And I wanted to get an unbiased perspective of the different organizations so that I could go back and write about them as someone who would be new to the city, maybe someone coming over from France, and they wanted to get involved. And I wanted to find organizations that would be welcoming to all people, to newcomers. So it was one of the criteria that I really stuck to when I, went.
So you were not paid to say something nice about something?
No, and I have to tell you, there were several organizations, I will not talk about them, that if I talked to them on the phone or if they weren't nice to me, I had to delete them. I had to take them out of my database because if they weren't nice to me, I don't want somebody who's new to the city to call them and then have a terrible experience. I want someone to go out and have a wonderful time because the book is about enjoying yourself and meeting new people.
Of course.
So that was very important to me.
Oh, so it's going to come back to them eventually.
Exactly.
And the book, you did that as a hobby, on your spare time?
No. Actually, it was a serendipitous thing that happened. I had been living in San Francisco for about 3 years, and I moved here from the East Coast, and I was having a really hard time finding and fitting into the city. And I was out having a conversation in a store and talking to the clerk about, he was over from Germany, and I was asking him, are you having trouble getting to know the city? And so we were into this conversation, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this woman comes in and says to me, hi, I'm Ruth Harvey. I wrote a book in Philadelphia called Connecting in Philadelphia, and it's exactly what you're talking about, how a city is to meet people and find your way and make it more like home. Well, after talking to her for 10 minutes, I said, I really want to write a book like that for San Francisco. So I took her number and I called her because she was here as a tourist. And
she was looking for something.
She wanted to do a book here. So it was a way that it was one of these meetings where it just worked, how we came together with each other. So she went back to Philadelphia and I pursued her. I said, Ruth, I really want to do a book like this. And she said, you don't know how much work you're thinking about. It sounds great.
Have you been a writer before?
Well, I've always been a writer.
Oh, okay.
I was an actress,
okay.
But I've always been a writer in some capacity since I was a child, writing short stories and poetry. So I knew I had, in graduating with a degree in communications from USF, I knew I had the credentials. And then teaming up with someone like Ruth, who's a counseling psychologist and has 20 years of experience of dealing with these issues, I said, wow, this is a win-win situation for both of us. But then, when I got into it, doing the work, I was like, oh, maybe I did take too much on. But
Took you 6 months?
7 months of just doing the research and 5 months of writing.
So that's a year.
A year. It took a year. And she's in Philadelphia, so we did it over the internet. So we sent, I would produce all the information here, and then we would send it over the internet, and we would edit it, and we would do a collaboration that way.
Wow.
The cover was done by a
It
local.
looks like her painting. It's
Yes,
so
I was
cool.
going to say, it was done by a local artist by the name of Sherry Carter, and the other thing that makes the book interesting is it was produced by all women. I had a women designer, women editors, so it was a nice collaboration from that perspective also.
So it's like a minority organization.
And what's nice though is I've gotten some really good feedback already, and the day that Mayor Brown gave me his endorsement for the book, I knew that it was going to be a great book, and it was going to have...
Oh, you went to see him?
Oh, I followed the man around for 3 weeks because I'm saying, this is a great idea, I want you to endorse it. And so I had
And
he did.
Nice.
So that just goes to show you what tenacity will
What
do for
did you
you.
do? Look through it a little bit and say, yeah?
I sent him a full proposal to his press secretary, and he looked over several
said yeah,
chapters,
he
and he
said
said yes. So,
Because he wants to promote the city.
right, and that's where I see my future as
Promoting cities?
promoting San Francisco.
Just San Francisco?
Just San Francisco. I love the city.
Oh, because a lady one time started a book on, a bed and breakfast, and then she did one town, then she did another one, and finally she did all of the United States. I mean, you can start in San Francisco, but then if it becomes successful, you can do another city one day.
Well, Ruth is doing that. This book is already in Philadelphia. She has another series, and she wants to go
Oh,
into
I see.
Boston and
I see.
Chicago. But from my perspective, I really don't want to go and live
Travel.
in Chicago. I have to tell you, it was a lot of work.
Okay.
And I prefer, it's
So this is
isolating.
like a series.
Right. And I find writing to be a very isolating
So she
experience.
funded it then?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So I did all the writing, we wrote it together, but it was
that's
basically
interesting.
her idea in the beginning.
Sure, that's so okay. She let you do all the work and fund
Oh,
it.
she helped. I mean, it was
No, I mean in terms of going places and stuff, everything, and she had the money to do it.
well, that was a Off-Time Press produced it so it was a collaboration there also.
So it's like both your names then now, Diane and Ruth Harvey have produced Connecting in somewhere else.
She has Connecting in Philadelphia, like I said,
Oh, Philadelphia. Okay.
and she's working on Boston and several other cities as we speak.
Oh.
But the nice thing about this too, and I want to point this out, is it's not just a guidebook. It's really gives a lot of insight into the city. When I was writing the chapter forwards, I thought about it, if someone was new to the city, what would they want to learn about the city? So there are 18 different chapters. So instead of just saying, okay, go to Alliance Française and go to a lecture or they have language classes, I say that San Francisco has many cultural groups that they embrace. It's a city where, everyone comes together around cultural issues. So I'm giving people an idea of not just go out and do something, just go anywhere. I'm giving them more in-depth ideas about the different groups.
And you make sure that's not just a fly-by-night organization.
No,
It's not like a 3 months and it's going to go. It's
No.
like people who have been around for a while.
Very much so, and my reputation's on the line, and again it goes back to the idea that I didn't want to send anybody I didn't want to go to.
Okay.
A perfect, I had resistance like everybody. Sometimes when I was out, for an example, I went one night dancing.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, this is the last thing I want to be doing is going Greek folk dancing. And I'm sitting on the side and I'm going, no, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. By the end of the night, they have me up. I'm doing this dance I've never done before, and I'm having a wonderful time. And I'm thinking, boy, if I feel this way, if I have such resistance and I'm out doing this, and I'm a gregarious extrovert to begin with, I'm thinking about all the shy people out there, and I'm thinking how important this book really is, because it lays the groundwork for people.
Did you know, is there the grape leaf in here?
Excuse me?
The grape leaf.
No.
It's a place where people go and belly dance and stuff.
Oh, I have a Mina's studio.
Amina, yeah.
Amina's for belly dancing.
You put it in there?
Oh yes, oh of course, yes. I have it under especially for women. So that's under my especially for women chapter.
She's performing in December at the Grape Leaf. But the Grape Leaf is a place where every week there's new bands and new belly dancers and new, it's mostly Middle East stuff. And then sometimes, of course, they have Greek or Spanish bands. But it's a great place to connect also.
That's a great, any place it's a great place to connect.
It's just like a family kind of restaurants where you can go and you can dance yourself if you want to.
That's what I've discovered though, being, going around everywhere. I feel like San Francisco's my home now because before I took this project on, I couldn't figure the city out. I said, oh, you know, because I live on Russian Hill and then south, you know, we're here at 15th and Folsom. I wouldn't have known where 15th and Folsom was before, but right away I went 15th and Folsom, South of Market. I know the artists, you know, all these different organizations right here in this area. So the city has just expanded itself so much to me. And that's what I'm hoping, another thing that people will get from the book, is that you don't have to live in your 8 blocks. You have to go out and try different things in different parts of the city.
And before that 1 year, you were what, a public relation person?
No, actually an actress.
Oh.
And I've been an actress for basically 10 years. And I was with Second City in Chicago, which is an improv group, and television commercials, all the gamut.
So you're going to go back into that, I suppose?
I would also like to see potentially
Writing?
Writing, again, I'll always write, because I'm writing a fiction, I'm writing a novel simultaneously. So I have 12 chapters of a novel finished, and it takes place in San Francisco, so I can tie it into the city also. So I want to continue to write, but I want to be out with people too. And so I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I want to be out telling people what a great city San Francisco is.
Wow. So you've been here how many years yourself?
4, over 4 now.
So you kind of like it so much that...
Oh, it's home now.
It's home?
It's home now. I'm staying.
I don't know. After 4 years, usually it takes a little bit longer to be home. I mean, it does. I mean, but since you have spent it full time doing it,
talking to people.
I mean, I know there's a lot of great places in your book. Can you mention a couple that are your favorite because of your own culture?
Oh, because do you mean from being Italian or?
Probably. Are you Italian? Is that
I'm
what you
Italian.
are?
Well, there are Amici dell'Italia Foundation. There are just, I don't want to even point on the Italian groups. I would like to just point out a couple groups that you would never think that exist. For example, when I came across the beekeepers, there's a group in San Francisco that keep bees. Now, it was not my job to judge people on their hobbies. So when I came across things like this, I just said, okay, there's this great group out there that love to collect bees.
Wow.
There's another group with the Circus Arts School, that a very serious group of non-professional
circus people.
I mean, and they have drop-in high trapeze classes, so you can actually go
and practice
what you're doing.
It's like a little hobby.
Right. The Cap Street, it's an art installation where different artists are invited to come in, take over a whole room, a whole big room, and create a piece of art out of it.
And it's funded by a foundation?
Then it's funded by that foundation. I mean, there are just so many things to discover when you just go around. If you're into horses, there's the Talitara little polo shop out on California, 6200 out in the avenues out there, that you would never know is there until you just really start poking around. And I could go on and on. I have 693. I could have had 1200. And
sure. And this book is going to be out soon?
Oh yes. This is my only advanced copy, so I'm really happy with it. I got it, and they're going to be coming next week. And I've been picked up by all the major distributors, so it's going to be in Barnes and Noble and Borders, and I have
all over the place,
all over San Francisco and the outside areas. It's available through Off Time Press.
So they take care of the distribution. You just wait and see what happens, right?
Oh, I'm going to be everywhere.
Oh,
I'm going to be out doing presentation talk shows everywhere, promoting it.
Oh, and signing books.
And signing books.
and go. Yeah, that's
The
nice.
nicest thing is when
You're gonna
I,
meet so many people.
well, I already know a lot of people from doing it,
Oh, sure,
but I mean, when
even more.
when their eyes light up, though, when they see it, it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, is there let's say drawings in it, or this is?
Oh yes, it has a map, and we have different drawings, and we also have different photographs of different groups, so you can actually get an idea what's happening. Like this is the San Francisco Center for the Book, and they were sponsoring a workshop on illustration here. And down here is a painting party at the Stroke of Genius, and they're on Fillmore Street, and it's a great little place where you can go and you can go in alone, or you can go in with different groups and get in on painting parties.
Oh, I see.
And just do different things. But again, the book is laid out so you get an idea of the different organizations.
And the different interests, by interest?
And by interest. And there are 18 different chapters. And Game, Sports, and Outdoors is a great chapter. This is the Rock Rendezvous members, and they're on top of a mountain here. I don't know if they've invited me to go climbing with them, but I'm not that brave. I've always find that people are inviting me to do different things, and I'm not a rock climber, but I'd be delighted just to find out about it. And the other thing is I have a chapter for different interest groups. Especially for women. There's a seniors chapter, a singles chapter, because I didn't want to leave anybody out. There's a gay and lesbian chapter, so I cover all the different segments of the population that are so important to San Francisco.
Well, if you have a section on gay and lesbian, I mean, you have a section also on heterosexuals.
No, the whole book is for heterosexuals and gay and lesbian.
I mean, it's like if they're something special. I mean, or you're heterosexual or you're gay, so you're gonna have a book on the heterosexuals.
No, we talked about that actually, and like I said, I'm dealing with somebody who's a psychologist, and what she said is sometimes you want to be around people that you choose to be around you because of that reason. Maybe there are different organizations that are for gay people.
Really?
Yes.
Just for that?
Yes. And
was that embarrassing for you to cover those? Since
oh no.
You're not gay? I mean, I assume.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. No, I have no. Like I said, that's one of the things I've enjoyed doing about the book so much is I've crossed all of the
barriers.
city.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I understand. So you didn't have any problem dealing with that part?
Oh no.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Well, that's fun. And is there also place to go with kids or something like that? Or?
No, I stayed away from doing things with children because
It's
there are a
just
lot
an
of
adult-
books out there.
It's an adult book.
It's like there are books out there what to do with your dog, what to do with your children. And again, I didn't want to make it a tourist guide, so I was really specifically looking at
People
targeting
who are here.
People who are here or people who are moving here, relocating to the city. So it gives them an idea, an overview, a sampling of different places that are in the city.
Okay. Well, I think you have covered everything very well.
Well, thank you.
Unless I missed something.
No, you didn't. You
You're
did.
good.
You did a great job.
Okay, so this was Diane De Castro, which is a Spanish name.
Yes, that's my married name. My maiden name was Riccio, so I'm Italian.
Okay, so you covered also, I suppose, the Mission District for the Spanish people?
Yes.
Okay, and she covered then everything.
I have all different cultural groups.
All the groups, and I'm sure she had a lot of fun doing it. So if you follow a bit her path, you will discover it just like she did. But like I said, as you went along, is from page 1 to page 2 or whatever, or
348.
Right, 248, or is it then organized after that or did you do it at the page from the time you started it to the time you finished, or the pages have been reorganized?
No, it's organized by chapters, and
okay.
then
it's not first place you checked.
No, I didn't want to do it that way either because it looks like you're doing favoritism, and I'm not doing any favoritism. It's organized more along interest groups. Okay. So there's a chapter on hobbies and clubs, and so it's hobbies and clubs is chapter 7 because it's H, and there's different chapters that come before.
So the last chapter could be something you've discovered first.
Writing and poetry.
I see.
So it's only because it's W.
Oh, I see, I see.
And then vacations, and then it goes,
Okay, so it's alphabetical, huh?
yes.
Okay, so it's alphabetical, so there is no favorites, or so it's endorsed by Mayor Brown.
Mayor Brown, I
our
did. I
dear,
got
our dear mayor.
our dear mayor, and also the Literary Society, the San Francisco Literary Society, I'm pleased to say. So that attests that it's well written.
Okay.
And just I've gotten so much positive feedback and so many
You're very
great
happy with
endorsements.
it?
Oh, it's people have been teasing me. They said it's like I'm having a baby instead of having a book because it's something that I created.
That's
and
great.
and now I'm
Now it's out.
now it's out, soon to be out.
Okay, now the 9 months are over.
Oh,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, well, thank you very much for
Well,
being here.
thank you for having me.
Okay.